Gentleness, more than meets the eye.
Good evening. Rotary Club of Fair Oaks is hereby called to order. Please take your seats. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Fair Oaks' virtual clubhouse. If you're here, you're in the right spot. I'm Dennis Dunbar, president of the Rotary Club for another 8 days. We're happy to have you here tonight for our weekly club meeting, internet style. If you have any questions or comments during the course of this broadcast, if you would type it into the chat box in the middle of the toolbar down below on the Zoom screen. We will have someone read it out loud, and we'll try to get a panelist who knows what the heck's going on relative to your question, answer your question. So there is the ability for you to write a question or comment. We won't be doing happy finds tonight as we've been doing. For those of you who are regular attendees here, we're going to try to make a short dash to the finish tonight. So oh, it's me. Well, welcome. All right, let's see. Do we have any visiting Rotarians or guests? Russ, you see anybody there?
Yes, welcome back to Jan Graver once again. I'm just scrolling through the list. I see a Christopher C. I don't see it on our member list, so my apologies if you are a member. Maybe I just don't recognize the name, but welcome, Christopher C. And the rest so far look like regular members.
All right, well, welcome everybody, Jan and Christopher. Trying to think who recommended Christopher. One of our members set him up with an invite to join us tonight, and we're happy to have you. Robin, okay, thank you. Robin set this up. Robin, thank you, and Christopher, welcome. Do we have a poll tonight, Ray?
Yes, we do.
Oh, look at this. How did President Dennis do this Rotary year? Pick one. He was awesome. There, that's all you need to know. He was the most interesting man in the world. He can now continue his comedy career. Will he do it again next year? Didn't we impeach him? Or the corollary to that is, shouldn't we have impeached him? So again, how did I do? Awesome, most interesting man in the world. Continuing my comedy career. Will I do it again next year? Or did he impeach me? So place your votes.
Looks like the votes are slowing down. Give another couple seconds.
All right.
All right, here you go.
All right, Ray, thank you. He was awesome. How many of you people do I owe $20 to now? I'll have to write this down. Thank you. Let's see. Didn't we impeach him? No. And my comedy career is not taking off, apparently, so good for you. All right, thank you so much for your vote of confidence this late in the game. I'm surprised I wasn't tarred and feathered, run out on a rail, so thank you. All right, tonight's comic. In 20 years, when kids ask me about the 2020 toilet paper shortage, I'm going to tell them we had to drag our butts across the lawn in the snow, uphill in both directions. So there you go. We will have stories to tell to our grandchildren and whatnot. One last time, please make sure you support those restaurants and businesses that supported us during last year, during parts of this year. They supported us, and we certainly can return the favor.
So you
I believe we have it. We have a video, do we not?
Yes, we do.
Would you play the video, please?
At home, self-isolation, and how I miss the shops and the bustle, people that jostle by. One day is just like the other, Deja vu. I'm an extrovert pining here with nothing to do. I play far too much solitaire. Makeup, hair are useless, no one minds me. Oh, how I need some human touch. The animals have had enough. I'm going crazy. Somewhere into the future, we'll be fine. They'll beat COVID-19. Well, it will be about time. Self-isolation, all alone. I'm stuck at home. Oh, why, Corona? Why?
You know, the classics just, you know, keep on giving, gets me right in the throat every time. So, thought for the week, by changing nothing, nothing changes. Good thought. Right? Talked with Howard. He doesn't have anything for the sunshine report tonight, so we'll just pass over this one. All right. Tomorrow afternoon from 4 to 5 p.m., the Rotary Education Assembly Live is going to have another training module on how to use Club Runner. I'm learning how to use Club Runner better every day, and there's still lots to be dug up and scratched and flushed out. So if you have not been using Club Runner and you want to know a little bit more about how to use it to the club advantage, then please plan on checking in tomorrow afternoon at 4 to 5 p.m. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm daydreaming here. Ray, we have another video, please.
Well, I think it's our sponsor for this week, correct?
It is our sponsor. Yeah, thank you very much. It is paying the bills, so a word from our sponsor. Thanks, Ray.
Nou, dit is dus de huiskamer. En dan komen we hier bij de slaapkamer. Oh ja. Met...
Well, that's living proof that everybody has their own set of priorities, huh? So a little humor to try to keep you going here a little bit. Ray? All right, the 2020 Rotary Virtual Conference is currently underway. This weekend, I managed to make both general sessions. It's interesting. If you've not been to a convention, an annual convention, and want to get an idea about how it runs, what things are covered, this would be great. It's free. You just need to, in some cases, you need to get up early. The general sessions went at 6 a.m. for me, so, and I'm retired. I'm not used to getting up early anymore, but it was pretty good. They talked a lot about COVID-19. They talked a lot about adaptation and changing on the part of Rotary. At the club level, district level, and so forth. So if you have a minute, go out there, take a look at the breakout sessions. I believe that the general sessions have both been posted, so that if you didn't see them, you can go out and watch those. They're about an hour, hour and a half. you know, it's worth taking a look. If you haven't done one, it's great. And if you have, you know, you can kind of get back into the flow a little bit. So, Ray, anything you want to add about the conventions?
No, I know that the two main sessions have already been put out on YouTube for you to watch. The session this morning, which I missed because I didn't realize it was actually starting when it was, they said it would be available 24 to 48 hours afterwards. So the breakout sessions are going to be there.
Is that going to be consistent for all the breakout sessions, about 24 to 48 hours?
That's what the website said today.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't make the one this morning too. Apparently my alarm clock and I had a disagreement and I won. So, all right. All right, folks. Tonight's gift from your president, soon to be past president. No announcements. Let's move on, Ray.
All right.
Oh, we should probably do a second check. Russ, anybody new check in since we did it last time?
Well, just for the fun of it, I don't have a name, but somebody called in with their phone number. So welcome to whoever ends in 8226. We're glad you're here.
We don't care how you get here. It's the destination, not the journey. So yeah. Welcome. We're happy to have you here. So, all right. Looks like we have another video, Ray.
Are you going to give it a little introduction before we run it, or?
No, let's just run it.
Okay.
Morning, everybody. We're here at Milwaukee High School. I don't know what they've been told about why we're here, but we're here for a different purpose. We're here to honor Scott Evans for his participation in our community. So let me give a little background, but first some self-introductions. Dave?
I'm David Levis. I'm the principal here at Milwaukee High School. I'm Scott Evans, counselor here at Milwaukee.
And I'm Clarissa French.
And behind this mask, I'm Dennis Dunbar, president of the Rotary Club of Fair Oaks. So what we're doing today, Scott, the Rotary Foundation, which is part of Rotary International, accepts donations from community members and club members. And they use that money to fund service projects that improve life in our communities and in the world. And by way of recognition, when people donate $1,000, they get a Paul Harris Fellow pin. I'm wearing mine right here. The foundation also acknowledges additional $1,000 contributions by having other Paul Harris Fellow pins, +1, Paul Harris Fellow +1, +2, +3. We Rotarians consider this recognition as a high honor. We're also able to make honorary assignments pins, and that's why we're here today. We're going to recognize your commitment and your contribution to our community. We want to recognize particularly the work you did on the Meraki mentoring program. That was a very successful program for us. It would not have been as successful without your involvement. So with that, the club is pleased to be here today to present you with the Paul Harris Fellow pin and certificate. Now should we hear the last step? So, maintaining our distancing, here's your certificate. And here's your pin. You can pin that on yourself. We've never lost a member yet. We have had some use for Band-Aids. Congratulations.
Well, sir.
Thank you guys so much. You guys are phenomenal. The way you support our school has been really tremendous. Scott is a huge, amazing asset to the program, and we really appreciate all the hard work that you put in just making the focus has always been on the Greater Fairbanks community, Sacramento in general, and that has always been present. So it's been exciting to see that grow.
Seen that, we recognize it. Congratulations.
I
There
would
you
like
go.
to thank Fair Brewery. You have been amazing community partners and such a benefit to our students. And I'm really excited about continue that partnership in the future. It's going to be great for our students. Yeah, thank you.
All right. That was actually pretty exciting to be able to do that. We were trying to give a little bit of reward for Scott Evans' involvement in the Meraki mentoring program. We, as a club, recognized him on the basis of being a community member who demonstrates his own level of service above self. And it was really quite an honor for me to be able to give him that pin. It was a little awkward, I'll admit it. As you probably saw, you know, as we're wearing a mask, we're maintaining our physical distancing. We're out in front of the school, and you know, it wasn't anywhere near as smooth as I typically do it. And you know how unsmooth I am doing some of these. But again, he was a community member, and as I said in my pitch to him, you know, we donate our money to the Rotary Foundation of Rotary International, where the money is used to fund projects to improve communities locally and in the world. And for every $1,000 of donation, there's another recognition pin that comes by way of the individual who's made that donation. And sometimes they can also get the pins when other members award or transfer points to their account, which is the equivalent of $1,000, and then they get another pin. So tonight, in that same vein, we have 3 of our club members who are receiving their next level Paul Harris Fellow Awards. And so I will simply call it out that I guess Ann Browning is not on tonight, but she is getting her Paul Harris Fellow +2. And Don, you're getting your Paul Harris Fellow +2. Congratulations. Robin, your Paul Harris +1. And Mark, you're getting a Paul Harris Fellow +3. Congratulations. And congratulations to all 3 of you. Would you please pin yourselves, please?
Oh, I can't wait to pin you.
Oh, you're going to pin Mark's? Okay. Mark, I presume you're going to return the favor?
I didn't even.
Did you stab him?
I should have.
And Dawn, you got yours on you unscathed, right? You didn't stick yourself?
Oh, I got it. Thank you.
Good. Well, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
All right. Robin, congratulations to you. And Mark, congratulations to you as well. And also congratulations to Ann Browning in her absence. I'm sure she'll get taken care of pinning herself later. So, and there you have it, folks. Give them a virtual clap, applause. Very good, guys. Very good.
Thank you.
All right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
All right, we've had some birthdays. Actually, we've got Mozzie's was last week. Mozzie, happy birthday. And Ted Golshanara, his birthday's today. And happy birthday to Ted. If you see them or want to send them an email, do so. Wish them a happy birthday. Wedding anniversaries, we've got Keith and Monica Wright. And they've been married for 19 years. That's a little hard to believe. They just graduated high school a couple years ago, I'm sure of it. Rotary anniversaries, Keith Wright, 1 year. I guess he gave that to himself, a membership in Rotary as part of his wedding anniversary present to himself. Nice job. Nice job. Good to have you. All right, tonight we have our two truths and a lie coming up, and our guest liar tonight is Diana. So let me read it off. Actually, Diana, can you read them off? Tell us what your truths and your lie are.
Okay, so I'll read them because I didn't write them down, and I'll read them from here before I show you my picture. Number 1, I was instrumental in the induction of the law for toilet seat covers in all restrooms in the state of California. Number 2, I was #1 manager in team sales in the nation for Tupperware. Number 3, I was part of an investigation of a death of an enlisted man in the Army.
Wow, that's incredible. All right, vote for which one you think is the lie. Which one is untrue? Which one is not consistent with the 4-way test?
Well, people must be having a hard time because they're voting a little slowly tonight.
Can't figure out which one.
All right, it looks like it's slowing up. We'll give them another couple seconds.
All righty.
All right, I'm going to end the polling and here are the results.
All right, so the folks think the lie is that she was instrumental in the introduction of induction law for toilet seat covers in all restrooms in the state of California. Diana, what do you say?
Well, I say that you're wrong because I was instrumental. A girlfriend and I, when we were working at the state capitol, got really fed up going to a dirty bathroom, and we went to our boss, the assemblyman I was working with, and we said there should be a law that every bathroom should have toilet seat covers. And he said, that's a good idea. So he actually introduced that bill, and it was defeated the first year because although the toilet paper industry was for it, the gas station industry was against it, and it was defeated. However, the next year, it was introduced again, and it passed. So when you sit down on that potty in a restroom, you can thank me. Thank you. That was my truth. The lie was, and I was part of an investigation of a death of an enlisted man in the Army. Jim and I were stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. I worked for the billeting office. The lieutenant I worked for was black, and he was assigned to investigate an enlisted man who had died of white lightning. And since I took shorthand and they did not write, we were sent on this excursion way, way into some very wooded areas in the South, where we got to see how the blacks lived back then in the late 60s and early 70s. And although they kept saying they didn't know nothing, so I was part of that investigation. He ended up dying of white lightning, homemade alcohol.
Moonshine.
Moonshine. The lie is I was #2 manager in the nation, not #1. That was my lie.
Well, that's pretty incredible. I don't know what I would. Well, I figured you were #1.
Nope, #2.
All right. Well, good enough. Thank you, Diana. Appreciate the insight. That's pretty good. And looks like we're up. Tonight I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker. Hi, everybody. All right. So this is what I'm calling my What the Heck Happened farewell tour. This is my first and last stop on this farewell tour. So I hope you enjoy it. Maybe you guys remember my little guys, my Transformers. We had some fun with those. Our theme was Connect, Transform Lives, and I've referred to club members as Transformers throughout the year, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So, right? All right, just to get things started, this is my first meeting, and you can see by the look on my face that I'm a little bewildered and baffled, and who knows, maybe even afraid. So, right? Went to Pets and discovered I had a support group that was standing behind me most of the way, and turns out these two guys, District Governor Ray and Assistant District Governor Joe, had been stalwarts in supporting me, making sure that I stayed on task I made sure I stayed focused on where we were supposed to go. They weren't the only ones, and I'll get to that later. But I do want to publicly thank both District Governor Ray and Assistant District Governor Joe for supporting me, even holding me up sometimes when I wanted to just buckle at the knees. So, right. So what did I want to do with this year? You may recall, I think it was my first meeting, I stood up in front of you collectively, and I told you what my goals and aspirations were going to be. And what I really wanted to have happen was to work with you all to make the world a better place, both in our local community and worldwide. Internationally, I had big plans, you know. And for the most part, I think we did pretty well in doing that. We had a number of projects that touched on our local community, touched on some international stuff, Rise Against Hunger, for instance. And so I'm satisfied that we had a pretty good year in trying to do what we could to improve communities. Again, with the theme Connected to Transform Lives, I was hopeful that we would connect with each other, the club, as well as a community of Fair Oaks, and also the world. So, and again, I think we did pretty good there, you know, trying to connect, and I'll get to that as well. I also indicated that I was going to be taking a look at how the club runs itself. The administrative 3 E's, as I call them, the effectiveness, the efficiency, and the economy. And I've done some things, we've done some things to actually kind of unearth some of the underpinning of our club and how we can make it better. For instance, fundraising, clarifying committee responsibilities so that there's no overlap, there's no confusion. I've done a number of assessments with your help. We did a community assessment. We've done a club health check. We've done a membership satisfaction survey. I even snuck in a survey for dinner with Angela's help. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we'll be using the results of that too soon, but we may in the future have need of trotting that out and making sure that your dinner preferences are understood and heard. So, Ray? So these are my buddies, my little guys. As my year closes out, as you may recall, I told you that my buddies were an accumulation of smaller transformers, and that as we connected the smaller transformers and made the bigger transformers, that, you know, this was connecting to transform lives, and that we were more powerful and more prepared for what Rotary does. So this is just simply saying that it's time to dismantle the transformers, right? So the question now is, what did I do? And actually, I think the question ought to be, well, what did we do? We as a club. One of the things that I wanted to do was to increase our presence in the Fair Oaks community. I think we're pretty well known, but I wanted to make sure that every household had heard of Rotary. And we've done some things, and I have to, you know, thank Diana. She kind of jumped into her president's year a bit early, but she helped me move some things forward. For instance, Pete Schroeder is now writing periodic articles to put in our local newspaper, the American River Messenger, highlighting activities of the Rotary Club. And I really appreciate that. I want us to compete with thank you, dear. The other service clubs. You know, I don't think we've won Best in Fair Oaks for Service Clubs 4th year in a row for nothing. But I want to make sure that people realize that we have the ability to scratch certain itches when the other clubs have their own abilities to scratch other itches. And together, all the service clubs can really make a difference here. And that's what I want to see happen. I think that's going to happen. Also, Pete Schroeder has gone ahead, and we are now going to be advertising our club in the Recreation and Parks District activity booklet, the Roost. You may be all familiar with that. They decided to open up their activity booklet to advertising. They're strapped for money as well as we are. So, so we did a lot of things. Again, as I mentioned, we got Best Service Club in Fair Oaks for 4th year in a row. We managed to put on the senior luau to connect with our seniors. Again, that was a rec and park district function, but we supplied the food. We did a lot of the raffle and so forth. So, and of course, we also did women's empowerment. We did a lot of stuff actually, but I won't go through all of them, or we'll be here for breakfast. But I do want to say, relative to the theme, I was a little hesitant about it when I first trotted it out. But I've been thinking about who did we connect with during this year, and so I just want to give you some examples, so that you don't forget. We connected with the parolees at Centerpoint when we did the district grant, landscape improvement district grant. We encouraged them to assist us with doing the landscaping, and I've heard since we've left there, and after doing the landscaping, that they've enjoyed it. Their families come to visit on the weekends. The kids have a place to play. They have a place to do a barbecue, have a picnic. It's much better than it was. We connected with the Orangevale Fair Oaks Food Bank. We've been donating food to them, and again, thanks to Diana, we moved forward with getting an extra day of food distribution on their calendar that they didn't otherwise have. We have connected with the Orangevale Rotary Club, and we are now taking alternate weeks, Friday, to distribute food to the folks who now are learning that the food bank is now distributing food on Friday when they weren't before. So we've made a difference there. We continue to connect with Northridge Elementary School to provide families with meals. And I think that's going to continue through the summer. I need to check with Keith Wright on that. We also connected with the neurodiverse community here in Fair Oaks. That's in the Meristem school area. We chartered a Rotaract club, Rotaract Meristem Club, for these young adults who are undergoing training with life and business skills. They are on the autistic spectrum, and as I think Bruce Vincent has pointed out to me, he thinks this may be the world's only neurodiverse Rotaract club, and that would be quite a feather in our cap, because we chartered that club, we sponsor that club, and we're proud to have them. They worked at Centerpoint, helping Bruce Vincent spread mulch, maybe with Nick Broad as well. Both of them were very involved with this. So that's to our advantage too. You saw me giving a Paul Harris Fellow pin to Scott Evans at Milwaukee. They hosted the mentoring and leadership program there that was our first attempt at it. We had been working with Point West for a couple of years, learning the ropes about how this mentoring program for kids goes. And we did it on our own this year. And Mary Kate Gustafson and Ann Browning headed that up, and it went very well. So congratulations there. And finally, I just want to say too that we have also connected with each other. And the example at this point are the buddy teams. So the buddy teams is a way for 6 to 8 of us as a group to get together virtually. And in some cases, I understand there may be some physical gathering going on, but to keep in touch, check on each other and so forth. So I'll stop there with connecting. Just know that we have connected and we're making a difference, and that's what this club is about. And I'm proud to be a member of the club. So with that, Ray, we'll move on to the next slide, please. So the question I raise here is, where do we go from here? There were some things, and I'll talk a little bit about coronavirus. I thought my year was going pretty well, pretty smooth, until about February. Some things happened. In November, we had Thanksgiving, so things began to slow down for me. I couldn't quite get the committees together the way I wanted to get the strategic plan going, get the fundraising committee together to start looking at that. And then after Thanksgiving, it was Christmas. And then after Christmas, it was the Crab Feed, our major fundraiser in February. We managed to get all of our fundraisers done this year. And that's important. It's important for Diana. And it's also, something that we need to be thinking about as a club for her year, because remember, the money that she makes in her year for 3 of the 4 fundraisers is for Jake's year. And if we don't have fundraisers the following year after Diana, could be pretty dire. So we still have work to do. And one of the things is the fundraising. I want to make sure we get a group together to go over fundraising. And I've raised the question with Diana and some of the group about mini fundraisers that don't involve an event. We don't have to go to the chicken festival. We don't have to go to a crab feed. And you know, we don't have to put on an event like Night at the Races. In other words, we could do a car wash. We could do just virtual GoFundMe type stuff. So we're opening the doors up about what we can do to do fundraising, maybe on a smaller scale, but we do, you know, it doesn't involve a lot of Rotarian effort and time, because I know we all get, you know, fundraising fatigue. And after a while, it's like, oh, not another fundraiser. I can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. So hopefully you all will participate in that particular committee. Membership, I set a goal for increasing membership by +5, and it looks like I'm going to be at -1. We came so close to getting to 90 members. We got to 89, and then it became end of the year, time to clean up the roster, and we realized we had some people that we needed to take off the roster. So it looks like we're 84, 85. Robin can clarify that a little bit. She probably knows better than I do. So I want us to continue to work on growing membership, getting younger members in here so that those of us who are aging out can age out without guilt. And also I want to make sure that whatever we do with our fundraising, that it allows opportunities for members to participate as people of action and not being relegated to that of a spectator, you know, in lack of a better phrase of putting it. So I do want to concentrate on membership. And I've already kind of highlighted some of these, but projects that I'll need to continue, or someone's going to need to continue, is development of our strategic plan. I have the foundations built, the surveys that we did. Those are the foundations for building a strategic plan, knowing our community better, and making sure we know where we need to be in terms of scratching itches. Updating the bylaws, it's time to do that. I had hoped to do it, we just didn't get there. Updating budget and accounting processes. As you know, after 6 years of stalwart performance, Nancy Regan is stepping down as treasurer, which gives us an opportunity with the new treasurer, that would be me, to look at what our accounting processes are, and I've got to learn QuickBooks, so stand by. So we may be looking at those processes to see what we can do to make sure that we're in better shape. And I've approached a Rotarian from another club who is a former CPA and asked him if he would be willing to take a review, make a review of our books and give us ideas about where we can improve our bookkeeping and bill paying and so forth. So we'll be doing that. And I'm also interested, and I'm going to taking this on as your immediate past president here in 8 days. One of my tasks is going to be to expand the use of the donate button on our website to pay certain activities and bills. You know, if you want to pay your dinner dues, you can do that online. If you want to pay your club membership, you can do that online. It just requires us to build behind that donate button a drop-down list of things that you can do, and so I'm going to try to get that done quickly. The whole idea about these things, of course, is simply to make sure that our club, which is strong and vibrant already, that it stays strong and vibrant and gets even better if that's possible. I mean, we're a pretty good club. And whenever I go to the training, they say, your clubs ought to be doing this, that, and the other. And I'm going, we are doing this, that, and the other, and then some. So we'll want to be closer to the Fair Oaks community, and I think we want to try to do better with our in-house resources and use more of our members to do certain tasks where they have certain strengths. So that is what is where we go from here. And right? Oh, there's a little guy. He's getting ready to go home. Right. All right, so what did I learn? what did I learn about Rotary or about myself in the last 12 months? I learned that being president is the longest year you're ever going to serve. I also learned that being president is probably the shortest year you'll ever going to serve. My year was going pretty well, July through January. The normal pace, I thought. Seemed like got a little tedious sometimes. And then coronavirus hit. And then we got kicked out of the clubhouse. And then we decided to start doing these meetings, these Zoom meetings. I had a whole new bunch of stuff to learn because I'd never done a Zoom meeting before. Even though in my prior job, I was part of putting together video conferencing for the enforcement branch of the Department of Insurance. But that was several years ago, so I'd forgotten that. So being president is the longest year and is also the shortest year. And it causes a lot of cognitive dissonance, I'll call it. But I also discovered that being president is very rewarding. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed working with members of this club, you all. I enjoyed talking with and working with members of other clubs, other presidents, other staff of other clubs, district folks. And I think that helped me. I also believe that looking around that I determined that being past president promises to be better for years after being president and equally rewarding. So we'll see how that plays out. With regard to the club meetings, I really am not sure what to say about the club meetings. Like I said, we were doing so well at the clubhouse until February, and then the coronavirus thing changed all that. I don't think we missed a meeting though. I think we jumped right into Zoom. I think Ray and Russ had some experience. I know Ray did for sure, but I believe Russ did as well. Had experience with some of these, Zoom meetings or webinars and whatnot. So I was able to get good counsel from Ray about what we ought to do. And I don't think we missed a meeting. I think I missed one board meeting in March because I wasn't sure how to do it, via Zoom. But I think club meetings have gone pretty well. Aside from Zoom for the year, I think the meetings pretty much hit the mark. Mozzie and I had long chats about what we wanted to see, and I wanted education, and I wanted entertainment, and I didn't want stuff, where people come with their hands out asking us for money. We wanted to learn from what other groups are doing and see whether we could integrate with them. So we did the best we could with the speakers, and I will say that not every meeting hit the mark. I think maybe the meetings mostly hit the mark. I'd like to think that, but really that's up to you guys to decide if those meetings did or did not miss the mark or hit the mark. And again, it's not too late to send me and Diana your ideas. If you have a complaint or if you think something went really well, let us know so we can make sure that we maximize those kinds of ideas into her speaking plan. Although I think she's pretty well got hers lined up as well. So we introduced, there was some anxiety, I think, because of Zoom. We get on these meetings like we are right now. The only person you can see is me. There's, well, that can't be right. It looks like there's 36 people who are observing this tonight. And so there's 35 people you can't see at the moment. And so what we've done, thanks to Ann and Pete Schroeder, Ann Browning and Pete Schroeder, we have a weekly schmooze, Zoom schmooze, she called it. And then every other week we have a happy hour with Pete. And I've attended both, and I think they're fun. And obviously the meeting allows you to see all the people. The webinar aspect of it, you get to see a couple at a time, and we can't let everybody on or it'd just be chaos. So I will say that I've discovered of late, people have asked me, hey, Dennis, would you do this or would you do that? And I discovered that I finally, this year, developed the fine art of saying no. So, you may hear me say no more often. I've been pretty much yeah, I can do that. I can do that. And I can't, I can't. But right now I've been stressed. Okay, I want to leave you with this thought on what I learned, just so that the idea is simply this, is that the only thing scarier than change is staying the same. Looking around, And again, if you go out to the Rotary virtual conference, they talk about adapt and change because of coronavirus. And, we've done that. And so I got to thinking, really, people are sometimes frightened by change. They're not comfortable with change. But I think in this day and age, what's scarier is trying to stay the same when it's not working. So, all right, Ray? All right, my little guys are all disassembled. And some of them are waving goodbye. And this year is moving into history, right? And speaking of history, here it is. I took a quick picture here the other day of what my last meeting looks like. You may remember the first picture, fear in the eyes, right? Here, it's like, what in the heck is going on here? So trying to have some fun, and we hope we've accomplished that. Yeah, it's going to be interesting not having to do these meetings anymore. Well, I may get a guest shot once in a while, right? And there it is. All my transformers have packed themselves up, and they're ready to go home. So, great. And we have a video I'd like you to watch for your enjoyment, pleasure, right? Well, I hope that went better for you than it did for me. That was pretty much stop action, and I apologize if that's what you saw as well. We did this on Saturday, I'm pretty sure, Ray, and it worked pretty good, I thought. Here's the idea. This is called a haka. And what you saw there is the New Zealand rugby team going before their World Cup in 2019. But they do this at every game they play. Called a haka. It is a ritual dance that they do. It's intended to intimidate the opponent. It's intended to demonstrate their focus, that they have focus on their goals, which is to defeat that opponent across the field from them. It's yes, Nick, it's a Maori war dance. It's also, I learned, it's sometimes used, and I don't get this entirely, but it's sometimes used to honor a dignitary. Go figure. The reason I put this in here is hopefully to inspire you to think about haka in terms of getting in front of our challenges as a club and tell that challenge that they're not going to have us, that we're going to tackle that challenge, we're going to get it resolved, and we're going to make Fair Oaks a better community, we're going to make the Sacramento area better, we're going to make the world better. So that's why I put that in there. I know, Terry, you were a little concerned about what's this, and I get that. I kind of knew that I was going to have to explain it, and it is. Thank you, Nick. It is also a mark of respect as well. So Nick gets this better than I do, perhaps. We did some training when I was still working for a living, and trotted out the haka, and everybody really resonated with it. Everybody being the departmental managers, yeah, let's go home. So the word they gave us and the word I'm giving you is, here's haka, respect your challenges, but don't be intimidated by them, and practice your haka. So with that, Ray, we'll move on to the next one. All right, so what's next? Well, for me, I'm going to be your immediate past president, and I'm also going to be your treasurer. So, on a personal level, that's what's coming up next for me. Again, I put together the surveys, and I'm going to use those for the strategic plan. But I think the thing is that what's next is Madam President Queen Diana. And Diana, would you mind coming up and telling us a little bit about your year?
Okay, I want to know where my crown is.
It's on your head.
Yeah, it's on my head there, but where is it? Anyway, so was the haka to intimidate me, Dennis? Well, first, Dennis.
Diana, I love you. You brought me into the club. Why would I want to intimidate you?
Oh, I know. And I just think, how fortunate are we that we were able to meet Dennis? Was it only 4 years, Dennis, since you've been in? 4?
3.5.
3.5 years. And he not only stepped up to the plate and got involved very quickly, but look where he ended up being our president and leading us. And I want to say what an excellent job you've done of transforming our club so we can continue to connect. So I thank you for that. I think we had the right president at the right time. So thank you.
Thank you, Diana. I'm turning this back over to you now. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So onward and upward, right? Boy, is this going to be a big transitioning year. We did have to transition and learn a lot of new things as the last year was winding up, and what Dennis was talking about, having to go on to Zoom meetings. I didn't know what a Zoom meeting was before we had to do all this either. But we do need to transition, and that transitioning will be continuing for a while, as we know. But we will get through it together. And although I decided on my theme a long time ago before the pandemic, it seems even more appropriate now. Our theme for this coming year is TEAM, T-E-A-M. Together, everyone achieves more. It's all about getting more members involved, getting more members to participate on committees, projects, social events, because when you have more people, everyone's job becomes easier. So part of that comes from improving our communications through the buddy teams, which we already started, and the Acorn. You're going to see some changes in that through our meetings, in-house and or on Zoom. So we're looking forward to having what is called a hybrid meeting. I learned that term today from Ray, which combines an in-person meeting with a Zoom meeting. And Ray will be filling us all in that when it's time for us to come. I would just want to, Dennis touched on something about you can't stay the same. If you have never read the book, Who Moved My Cheese? I did ask my board members to read that. You can get it on Amazon for about $10. It's called Who Moved My Cheese? And it's all about the cheese moving and the people who choose not to move to find that cheese, and the people who decide to stay back. In this case, it's the mouse or the mice. I really encourage you to read that, because this is what we have to do. Like it or not, things have changed, and we have to change along with it. So we will be continuing on some Zoom meetings, but we have some other exciting news as well. Today I signed the contract with the VFW, where we'll be holding our meetings as soon as it is feasible to do so. They're the best location for us. They're off Hazel between Sunset and Winding Way. They're most economical for us, price-wise. They're cheaper than anywhere, including the clubhouse that we've been meeting in. And they can cook for us. So all of those are really good pluses for us, and I think that's going to be a very good relationship. I know change is not easy, and I know moving to a new location is not easy. But again, read that book, Who Moved My Cheese? But frankly, we didn't have a choice, even before the pandemic, whether we were going to have to move or not. We knew we were going to have to. We just had to do it a little earlier. We're looking forward to finalizing the arrangements, and as soon as we can meet feasibly, might be July, might be August, and we'll get you the details. But remember, we are going to continue Zoom meetings for those who cannot come for various reasons. If you don't feel comfortable coming because of health reasons or whatever, we will have the best of both worlds. So we're looking forward also to doing something different, and that's forming fellowships in our club. It's another way for us to meet socially and to help build stronger relationships and camaraderie, get that word out. As you know, one of the people joined our club for many reasons. You want to give back to the community, you want to work on projects, but maybe you were looking for new friends. But people stay for a different reason. So everybody has their own why you joined and why you stay. And a lot of reasons why most people stay is because of friendships and camaraderie. And we want to build on that. So we have a lot of different people with a lot of different interests, but we have people that have common interests as well. So why not form some groups that allows those people to get together? Jim's always looking for fishing partners. So we thought, well, why don't we form a fishing group? How about a golf group? How about a poker group? How about a movie group? How about a wine and dine group? So these are just some of the fellowship groups that we can form, and you might have some ideas of some groups that you could form on your own as well. There's no ends to what we can do. There's no right way, no wrong way. There's no wrong group. They're just, fun ways for us to get together. We're looking forward to hearing from you as to what kind of common interest you would like to develop in the club as well. Anyway, that's a brief summary of what our year will look like next year. But of course, nothing is predictable. We could say it's going to go this way and it goes that way instead. But anyway, and I hope you'll be excited to go on the adventure with me and help us develop the club to be even stronger. The stronger we are as a club, the better equipped we are to give service to our community. So if you're all on board to get to join our team and really make our club as strong as it possibly can be, then I hope that you will stay on and watch me do Zoom meeting and see how I do. Okay, so thanks, Dennis, again for an awesome year and for leading us through this transition. That's it for me.
All right. Thank you, Diana. All right, Ray. All right, I just want to end here by saying thank you to all of you. You guys have given me support, guidance, and shown me tremendous patience, and I appreciate it. It's been a heck of a year, but you know what? We made it. And yes, this is now my last meeting as your president. And Diana will be taking over, and I'm sure that under her leadership, it's going to be fun, it's going to be rewarding, it's going to be productive, and I'm looking forward to another great year. So again, if you would, as I told my board, I asked my board to give Diana the same levels of support, guidance, and scolding as they gave me. So hopefully it'll be a good deal. If you have any ideas about how to improve club stuff, you know, please email Diana with those ideas so she can incorporate them into her planning and whatnot. So with that, Ray, next slide, please. Next week is demotion of the president. Hot dog, looking forward to that. So obviously we ought to have more people attending because this is an opportunity to stick it to me, and I got thick skin anyway, so please plan on joining us. Ray, do you have a video?
Come on, everybody. It's time to ask the ultimate eternal question, social distancing style. What is hip?
Green. I'm Brad. Lee. Tommy Bolt. Telephone. You were tough. Thank you, baby. So you want to take out your trick back. He's on it to hit back. But you ain't just exactly sure what's it. Let your hair grow. Big what's coming to walk through. So I get on this light walk to the trail. Listen, what is shit? Tell me if you think you know. What is shit? If you're really here, I'm singing the song. You're in the hip trip. What is shit? Think about it, wait a minute. Think about this thing. Hey, you came upon a new breed, smoking on the lip and hanging out with the so-called heavy set. You've been seen in all the right places, seen with just the right places. Chevy, Sunny, and hey, bye-bye. What is hip? Tell me, you think you know. What is hip? If you really have, fasten the ears will show. You're in the hip tree. Maybe you're in the hip. Everybody say, what is hip? Does anybody know what hip is? Hey, what? Ellis. Hi, wait a minute. Let's see what it is. Let's see what it is. Let's see what it is. Sometimes it is what it ain't. Yeah. That's all right. So, yo. And it never to find you and you. Maybe even lose the right to a contest. Oh, I travel and find the Good God. That's how you know what hit me. Now it's hard, y'all. And you think you know what is it? If it really is, I say it for sure. What is it? Tell me, you think you know what is it? If it really is, I say it for sure. What is it? Come on, do it for me now. What is it? Have mercy.
Y'all be safe. God bless you. We are Tower of Power.
What is hip? Being a Rotarian is hip. Okay, next week, again, demotion of the president. Next slide there. And on that, this meeting is adjourned. Be careful driving home. We'll see you next week.